Politics is like water going downhill. I mean, you can put up these barriers, but the money's going to find its way around them.
And this year's election, the most expensive in our country's history. Candidates sometimes spending millions of dollars from donations and their own pockets in hopes of you putting them in office.
And here in Colorado, no exception. Congressional District 6, one of the most expensive in our nation, and across the board for state seats like governor, attorney general, secretary of state, and treasurer. All turning out to be expensive races, which brought up questions over our campaign finance system and if it's working for all candidates to get a fair shot at office.
News 5's Allison Zimmerman digging through the finance reports and spoke with experts on this issue.
Jared Polis helped turn into Patriot Boot Camp, an innovative nonprofit.
Now, these ads ran all over the airwaves and online this past election cycle, from ads for propositions to major races. And while there's big business in running campaigns, how does that ultimately impact the results? It's hard to say a direct correlation, but many experts say that what's currently being done in financing campaigns may need a change.
Democratic majority.
For Democrats in Colorado, election night was just the beginning as the party clinched control of the major statewide offices, both legislative chambers, and the governor's mansion.
What an incredible night. Moments ago,
a victory any political party would find worth celebrating. But not too far at a party of their own, Colorado Republicans waited as results came in, setting in the reality that there would be no Republican majority in the Senate or Republican leaders in major state positions.
A lot of out-of-state money and the green wave overwhelmed us.
Candidates pointing to the amount of spending done by their opponents as a possible cause. A topic that comes up a lot around elections and legislative sessions.
It is concerning, right? And it's hard. Campaign finance policy is really complicated. There's lots of different aspects of it.
Common Cause is a national organization focused on educating voters on elections and making changes to campaign finance law.
So I think for the average person, they're like, this is so much to get my brain around, right?
Something lawmakers have worked to address for years. But for many, the question exists on how much money and where it's coming from belongs in politics.
People see an opportunity for money to make a difference, then they're more likely to donate.
Throughout the nation, millions of dollars poured into elections, and here at home, we saw plenty of money involved, from races for House districts reaching 6 figures in spending to congressional and governor candidates dishing out millions. Take the governor's race, for example. Campaign finance reports show Jared Polis spent nearly $23 million. And for the 1.3 million votes he received, that's about $17 for each vote. About 5 times higher than his opponent Walker Stapleton, who ended up spending about $4 a vote. But for some of the smaller races, such as State House, a little more than a dozen candidates spent over $100,000 over the course of the campaign. And for some races, it came out in between $6 to $12 a vote. In many cases, the candidates who spent more money ended up winning, and some of those races ended up being very close. Take House District 47. Republican Don Bendel spent close to $17,000, where his Democratic opponent, Bri Buentello, spent nearly $135,000. Now, this all seems like a lot of money, and it is when you consider the median household income is about $60,000 a year in Colorado. But the solution on how to regulate and manage election spending is something people who look at this for a living tell me is a bit complex.
It's not that we're worried about the total dollars, although that's concerning, but we're worried about the corrupting influence that money can have in politics.
One of Common Cause's focus is not removing money from politics completely, but eliminating groups they say may eventually work to get politicians to push agendas through political chambers.
Our bigger picture that we worry about is those special interests coming in and putting in lots and lots and lots of money. We want them to listen to their constituents. We want them to listen to the people who voted for them or maybe didn't vote for them.
Money in politics is like water going downhill. You can put up these barriers, but the money's going to find its way around them.
While money is inevitable, the debate as to what would work best has many sides.
So I think that for now, a huge piece is education, that we want people to understand how money in politics works. At the end of the day, we want average Coloradans to have their voice heard, and that doesn't matter if they're somebody who has lots of money or somebody who doesn't.
You can go out and yell on a street corner all you want, but that's not going to be terribly effective. To actually broadcast your voice, it's going to take money.
Which for some people even means having the government help finance our elections. For example, in last week's election, Denver voters approved a ballot measure where if a city candidate agreed to spending limits, a public fund would match donations of up to $50.
I'm of the opinion that money is speech, and so when you restrict how much people can spend on politics, then it means you're restricting how much they can speak.
Coloradans statewide voted down on an amendment last week, which would increase the amount of donations a candidate could receive if they're up against a self-funded millionaire. Something critics said didn't solve the problem. Still, there's another side to what should change. Some political scientists even say not having any donation limits at all may be the way to go.
Or state races and then also national races. They're pretty, the limits are pretty tight.
Which for some candidates could limit how much money they're able to spend to get elected.
I do think sometimes the concerns about spending on politics are a bit overblown. I mean, this, after all, is the United States, the most powerful nation in the world. Who ends up controlling the government really, really matters.
These numbers for each of the candidates are preliminary. Under Colorado law, they have about a month after an election to turn in their final reports. And in addition to the spending and donations for each candidate, there are several committees, such as PACs, that put money into advertising for them as well. Now, this is a topic that's likely to come up in the legislature in the next couple of years and likely at the federal level as well. We'll continue to keep an eye on any changes for you. Always watching out for you, Southern Colorado. Allison Zimmerman, News 5.
Allison, thanks. And we should mention in Southern Colorado, local governments are also working to address campaign finance.
Just this week in Colorado Springs, City Council discussed changing some rules when it comes to candidates reporting their spending and having more requirements when it comes to transparency. We'll keep you posted.